The Eltarian War is finally here, the most anticipated story arc of the Power Ranger comics in 2021. Will this story arc live up to stuff like Shattered Grid, Necessary Evil, and stuff like that? We have yet to find out, but issue 13 kicks off with a massive bang and jumps straight into the action. We jump straight into the action with issue 13, and it is freaking crazy. I loved this issue. I just loved it. It had my attention from start to finish as I flicked through each page and read each detail going on, because oh boy, this issue is really crazy. So let's talk about it in my review of Mighty Morphin issue 13. So once again, this issue opens up with another flashback over 10,000 years ago in the past, and we see more of Zordon's past along with Zolfram's, and we see these interconnecting stories between the two characters. And what we do get is a bunch of frog people who appeared to be wiped out, all except for one. And one of them explains to Zordon and his forces that there was this mysterious stranger, which is Zolfram, and he stayed with him, he helped him out, he sweeped and stuff like that. But one night they found him in the Forbidden Magic Room, and although he claimed to be cleaning the place, he learnt the magic, and what he did is he turned on the frog people and was able to use this powerful forbidden magic and wiped them all out. All except for one, because he left one alive to tell the story of what happened. Now, first time reading this flashback, I got an idea of where this is going, because I get the feeling that this flashback is going to tell the story on how Zolfram or Zed got the Z-Staff and learnt magic to control the Z-Staff. So I feel like this is where these flashbacks are going, and they're setting up for something even bigger later down the line. So after that flashback, we then return to the present where we last left off in issue 12 of Mighty Morphin, where Zordon's energy tube had been smashed by Zardius, with Billy witnessing it. So Billy begins to panic and runs down the hallways of the command center. And I love the artwork of Billy running down the hallways of the command center, because you get something really cool that we don't see in Power Rangers, and that is Billy doing a morph while running. And I love the artwork of Billy doing the morph while running, because you get this really cool panel or panels of Billy morphing while running, and then he slides around the corner to see who's there, and he runs into Alpha. And Billy fills in Alpha on what happened where Zordon was destroyed, and Alpha thinks that Zordon is gone, but Billy says, don't worry, I can save him, I know a way. So that's sort of been leading up to what Billy's been working on at Prometheus. So I'm excited to see what we're going to see, what Billy's been working on, although I kind of have an idea with the cover of next month's issue. So after that, we then cut to another cliffhanger we got last month, and that was Kimberly, Rocky, and Adam facing off against the Sentry Force 4, and they're barely holding their own. But once again, I gotta give praise to the art, the coloring, and the lettering in this fight scene, because you get some really cool fight choreography in these comic panels with the Rangers trying to fight off the Sentry Force 4, and you get some really cool action scenes going on, especially the first one that you see, where you've got this awesome battle going on, where you've got Rocky facing off against the sword guy, you've got Adam facing off against the portal guy, and the portal's all over the place. His name's Zag, I can't remember all their names, but the artwork just looks freaking amazing with all this action going on. And I gotta say, I loved these fight scenes. You've got Rocky fighting the sword guy, and even Rocky's complaining, why do I always have to fight the sword guy? Why can't it be a guy with a hammer or an axe? It's always a guy with a sword. And Rocky's barely able to hold his own against him. So after that, you then have Zag facing off against Adam, and Zag is just flirting with Adam while kicking his butt. Adam is able to get a good hit on Zag, but it's not enough, as the Rangers are forced to retreat and try and make some kind of escape. But that doesn't work, because these Sentry Force 4 guys are like 100 steps ahead of the Rangers, and you get this really cool scene where Zag creates a portal for 0-0, and 0-0 sort of teleports through the portal to gain chase on the Rangers. But not only that, you get some cheeky little references in the dialogue that 0-0 talks about, and that is turning the Rangers into an Aquarian pancake, or Aquatarian pancake, and I like that bit of dialogue you got there, because I've got this prediction that maybe we'll see the Rangers of Aquitar show up, and there will be some sort of assistance in this battle. That's stretching it a bit too much, but I would love to see them make some kind of cameo or early appearance in this comic in the Eltarian War. So, the Rangers are cornered, and they just barely escape with everything going on. But you don't really see how they escape, you just see them teleporting away, but it's not really explained how they escaped. But you see the Rangers just barely getting out of the battle alive, which is kind of crazy, because the Sentry Force 4 are really freaking strong, and I'm glad they lived up to that, and they proved to be a problem for the Rangers. Even though it was like 4 against 3, they were still a massive problem for the Rangers. So the Rangers seemingly escaped. We then cut to the moon, where Zardius is talking to Lord Zed, and I loved the back and forth between these characters. I love the dialogue written between these characters, because it's not Zardius appearing in person, it's Zardius' hologram. And the dude even gloats that, oh, I'm sorry, I can't appear in person, I'm busy saving the universe. And Lord Zed says, hey, if it's about destroying Zordon, I'm working on it. But Zardius then brags again, because Zardius does a lot of bragging in this issue, saying, hey, I've already destroyed Zordon, and Zed's like, well, I've heard that claim many times before, and it's only a time before we get the Rangers, because they'll be lost without a mentor, and we'll easily take him down. And Zed's like, do you really think it's going to be that easy? I've lived this story. It doesn't matter how mighty your army is or how many monsters are at your command, the Rangers could be broken and lying at your feet, but just before you deliver the final strike, something will happen. And I love that sort of meta reference of the show, because something always does come save the Rangers at the end of the day. And no doubt about it, something like that might happen in this story arc. So Zed knows that even if you destroy the Rangers that badly, something will probably come and save them in the end. Like we've seen it happen before in this comic, where we thought the Rangers are going to lose, they're not going to win, and then something happens. We get it in the TV show, we sometimes see it in the comics here. And Zed is right. Zed also then says, your overconfidence will blind you to some crucial detail, or a foe you left for dead will suddenly reappear and you will fail. And I love that subtle reference, because Zardius wanted to assassinate Zulk from back in the day, thought he left him for dead. So whether this is foreshadowing that Zed is going to turn on Zardius, I freaking love that speech that Zed gave to Zardius in this issue. I freaking loved it. But Zed does offer to help Zardius, saying, however, with my help, and Zardius is like, I don't need your help, but if you interfere with my plans, I will be forced to end you. And Zed just snaps back with saying, hey, you're letting your pride blind you already. Don't underestimate these Rangers, because they will defeat you, just like they defeated me. And Zardius is like, well, I'm not you. And he's like, well, you're not. But you have the courage to threaten me from a hologram instead of face to face. So, I love the back and forth that these characters have. And Zed just ends it by saying, if somehow you manage to succeed in your endeavor, we both know my name is on your list next. So, happy hunting, my old friend. And that's where that conversation ends between the two of them. And then Zed goes to his minions. He goes to Goldar, Babu, Squat, and Finster and says, alright, Zordon's gone, pack your bags, you're going to the command center. And Finster's like, wait, you're sending all of us there? You know I'm not a warrior. And Zed replies with, yes, I know you're not a warrior, but unlike these simpletons, you're not a complete moron. So I've got a very important task for you, so please do it for me. So whatever that task is that Zed asked Finster to do, I'm really excited to see. And I'm also really excited to see the bad guys entering the command center, because if I remember correctly, you can't enter the command center without a power coin. Although in season 3, you did have Goldar and Rito dig under the command center, I believe, and plant the bomb in there, and that led to the whole Zeo stuff. So maybe they're doing something like this, something similar. But the laws of the command center seem to change from time to time, so it is what it is. We'll see how they get in there and what happens after that. So after that, we then cut to the secret room in the command center where Billy has been working on a backup system for Zordon's energy tube. And apparently, Billy's been working on this, or he worked on it as soon as he got back from Draken's world. So I'm guessing the first time they encountered Draken and they lost Zordon during that arc, or after that arc where they didn't have Zordon for a little bit. So Billy created that as a backup system just in case anything was about to happen. And although we don't see the little energy tube actually fully working, Billy is then attacked by the Eltarian grunts, we'll call him, and he's knocked unconscious, unfortunately. So Billy is knocked out, and Alpha is then surrounded by all these grunts. So that's the cliffhanger we're left on in this issue. But I did like that Billy has been working on stuff like that behind the scenes and stuff that happened years ago in the comics. So I like that payoff that Billy's been somehow working on stuff like that just in case a situation like this pops up ever again. So I do like that. After that, we then have Bulk and Skull hanging out in the juice bar, and they see an alien invasion is going on in the news, and they get the bright idea to go outside and film it. What a bunch of crazy dudes. So they've got the bright idea to go outside and film it because last time something like this happened is when Candace went missing. So maybe they'll think they'll find Candace amongst all this danger. So they run outside and they're ready to film. And I do like what Ernie says to him, saying, hey, remember what happened last time you guys ran head first into danger? And Bulk replies with, don't worry, we've learnt a lot since then. We're now professionals. So we get one page with Bulk and Skull, and it's a nice little page. I did enjoy it. So after that, we then cut to Promethea, where the rest of the Rangers are sitting around talking about what happened, and we found out that the distress call that Kimberly, Rocky, and Adam got last issue was not from the others. It was from the Eltarian forces that hacked their communications, and what they want to do is divide and conquer, and I gotta say, that's some good strategy. So everyone's panicking, they're worried about Billy, Alpha, and Zordon, but Tommy says, we're not abandoning anyone, Rocky. We came here to find the Omega Rangers, so that's why they're at Promethea, and once they contact them, we'll come up with a rescue plan, and after that, he's cut off by Grace, and Grace says, you're already out of time, Rangers. I'm tracking 6 Eltarian troop transports, and we're on a direct course for this location. Plus a command ship is entering the atmosphere, so stuff is going down. And not only that, Grace also learns that Zordon's gone. They can't read his energy, so that makes the situation even more crazy for the Rangers. And Grace replies by saying, you can mourn now, you can mourn if you win, but right now we've got a massive alien army coming down to Earth, and on top of that, there's only one way you guys are going to survive, and that is if you do exactly what I say and when I say it. I'm in charge, and if anyone has a problem with that, you can go outside and see what's waiting for you. And then on the final page, you see an army of the Sentry Force 4, Zardius, and like I said, an army of Eltarian troops or Eltarian grunts waiting to attack Promethea. And that's where it ends on, and that's a crazy cliffhanger. A really good cliffhanger too, where the army is ready to invade. It's a freaking awesome drawn panel. I love it. Or an awesomely drawn page. I just love it. So yeah, that was Mighty Morphin issue 13, the first part of the Eltarian War, and I gotta say, this was a crazy issue, and I loved it a lot. It was action-y, we had characters interacting, we had drama, suspense, cliffhangers, all the stuff we usually get in these Power Ranger comics. And not only that, we're seeing characters form unlikely alliances, such as Grace wanting to take command of the Rangers and tell them to trust her and follow her orders, which I know that isn't going to go great with a lot of them, so I'm very curious how that is going to go down, because not a lot of them, especially Tommy, like Grace, so I can tell that a lot of heads are going to be headbutting during this conflict. And not only that, we've got stuff like Goldar and that going down to the command center, which I'm excited to see. We've got the interactions between Zed and Zardius, which is foreshadowing something, no doubt about it. I'm really excited for the story arc, like really excited for the story arc. From what I've heard, it's not going to be a really long story arc. I think it's going to end at issue 16, I think. But either way, I'm really excited for the story arc, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen next. Once again, Ryan Parrott has knocked it out of the ballpark with these Mighty Morphin Power Ranger comics. Anyway guys, that's my review slash discussion slash recap slash mini podcast, whatever you want to call it, of Mighty Morphin issue 13. What did you guys think of this issue? Did you love it? Do you hate it? What are your predictions for the story arc in the future? Tell me down below. With that said, I'm going to bring this video to a close. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day or night. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out. Take care. Bye.